In this video, we are going to demonstrate how to properly shut down and clean the Elcometer Riga V25 vertical bellows pump. If your pump is not cleaned after every use, it could result in a range of issues such as inconsistent fan pattern, a blocked valve seat, and may even cease operation entirely. Shut down and clean. For this process you will need 3 buckets or pails, 1 empty bucket to capture waste, 1 bucket of solvent to flush out the system, and the bucket of product you have been spraying with. To properly shut down and clean your pump and gun, reduce pump air regulator pressure to 0. Reduce gun air regulator pressure to 0. Then pull the spray gun trigger, aiming towards the spray booth extractor to relieve fluid line pressure. Remove the air cap and spray tip and place it in its dedicated solvent container. This removes paint buildup on the air cap and inside the fixed spray tip. Depressurize the remaining residual fluid line pressure by holding the gun over the paint bucket as to not waste paint. Then remove the product intake hose from the paint bucket and place it into the flush out solvent bucket. Remove the fluid recirculation tube from the product hose and place it in the waste bucket. Now, while holding the recirculation tube against the wall of the bucket, slowly open the recirculation ball valve. Increase the pump air regulator pressure slowly, making sure you don't exceed 1 bar. The pump will now start sucking up the solvent, which will push the paint inside the pump and filter assembly through the recirculation tube and into the waste bucket or paint bucket. When there is no more paint coming through the recirculation tube, close the main pump air supply ball valve. Then close the recirculation ball valve. Pick up the Mini Extreme Mix spray gun and pull the trigger fully while holding it over the waste bucket or paint bucket. There will not be any fluid coming out of the gun. While fully depressing the gun trigger, slowly open the main pump air supply ball valve while holding the Mini Extreme Mix spray gun over the waste bucket. The pump will now start sucking up solvent, flushing the remaining paint from the fluid line. Release the spray gun trigger once a clear stream of solvent flows out from the front of the gun. Do not be alarmed, the pump will build up some pressure. Now put the recirculation tube in the same solvent supply bucket as the product hose. Slowly open the recirculation ball valve. Then, slowly open the main pump supply ball valve. The pump will now recirculate clean solvent through the pump and secondary product filter. Run the pump for 5 minutes in recirculation mode. While the pump is running in recirculation, relieve the residual fluid line pressure from the spray gun by pulling the trigger over the solvent bucket. The solvent will run clear when fully flushed. Now, close the main air supply ball valve. Reduce the pump air regulator pressure to 0. Then, close the recirculation ball valve. Remove the cap from its dedicated solvent container and brush thoroughly to remove any excess paint. Place it back into the solvent. To purge the remaining solvent from within the pump, remove the product intake hose from the solvent, making sure the recirculation tube remains in the bucket. Slowly, reopen both the air supply and recirculation ball valves, then increase the pump air regulator pressure to completely flush out the pump. Reduce everything back to 0 and close all the ball valves. The pump is now completely purged. It is now time to unplug the air supply from the pump. Remove the cap from the solvent, dry, and place back onto the gun. Your Elcometer Riga pump and gun are now clean and depressurized. Follow this process if the system will be used during the following production spray day or if you are planning on storing your pump and gun over an extended period of time. If you would like to learn more about our range of pumps or guns, click on one of the links on screen. Alternatively, visit spray.elcometer.com and please don't forget to subscribe to be notified of any new videos.